Hello and welcome to another Driven by Member seminar. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Deandra Filicetti and I am the founder of the Driven by brand. The Driven by Member community is a brand new community created in order to bring you more value in gratitude for your support of our motivational clothing line. Driven by is a brand dedicated to encouraging you to understand what drives you so that you can set yourself up for a life of fulfillment. Our line of streetwear is meant to remind you of the very thing that drives you. And the income from the clothing is actually what's used to fund our community initiatives. And we also donate $1 from every single piece of clothing to the Boys and Girls Club of Peel. Our member seminars are meant to help bring this community of driven individuals together and bring you the tools that will help you be successful in whatever your journey might be. We will hold one seminar per month delivered by different leaders from different industries, and the seminars will be 30 to 45 minutes in length. So welcome to Women in E-commerce, the subscription business model. Today we have founders Nana and Tori talking to you again about their struggles and lessons in e-commerce. And we're going to talk about how REDY Club got started, some of the challenges and lessons that the founders faced in e-commerce, what it's like to be a female in business, and a giveaway. We want to introduce the giveaway to you. So REDY Club is a subscription-based service for feminine hygiene products, and today they're doing a giveaway for organic pads and tampons, and all you have to do is just engage with us. So talk in the chat, ask questions at the end. Essentially, we are going to be giving away a 3-month supply of these products to the most engaged individual. So while Nana and Tori are talking, I'm going to be watching in the chat and just jotting down some ballots so that we can draw that name at the end. So at this point, I would like to turn it over to Nana and Tori. Welcome, Nana and Tori of REDY Club, and thank you so much for being here. And I'm sure everyone can't wait to start hearing from you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, definitely. Thanks for having us, Deandra. We're very excited to be here tonight with you and all the participants, and certainly really excited about sharing our journey about REDY Club, and welcome any questions. We'll try to hit all the points we can, but certainly welcome questions at the end on any of the things we cover or anything about the business or our journey that you'd like to know. So I just wanted to introduce you REDY Club. It's an online subscription service for 100% organic feminine hygiene products. We actually just launched our business this year, in May of this year, and we offer the products across Canada straight from our website, readyclub.com. I would say Nana and I both have a very entrepreneurial spirit. I think we're both risk takers, a bit of go-getters. We've always wanted to start a business of our own, each of us in our own way. But I think for years, we just happen to have been working on our corporate careers and try to make them successful. The idea, the dream of building a business of our own was really always there for each of us. We just didn't know how we would go about it, what it would be like and when we would do it. I would say business partnership is a little bit like marriage. When you find the one, it really works. And we were so lucky that we met a few years ago, Nana and I, and found each other. And little did we know that this meeting, this collaboration that we found would lead us to start a business together. So we met while completing our MBA program at the Kellogg Schulich EMBA program. And as part of this program, at the very end, after a year and a half of education, we had an interesting assignment, a new venture design project that we had to complete to graduate. And so what this was, it was an opportunity to work in teams to come up with an idea and really design a business, conceptually design a business from scratch. And this is how REDY was born. Ned and I were on the same team. And we went through a bunch of different ideas and really landed on REDY. When we were thinking about, well, what we would really want to start and how do we want to really build a business? I mean, certainly being successful and profitable, of course, was important to us. But I also think that where we really connected, it was where we both felt it was important to make a difference in the world. It really to bring in contribution to others, leave an impact, and that was really important for us when we were thinking about the business. So, how do we go about it? How do we kind of get started? We kind of used a simple framework, which really got validated during our education. Um, you may have different ideas, but you really need to go through a really specific framework to validate it. And so you start with a research and really blue sky brainstorming various ideas that really relate to you. Maybe it's something that you feel a need for, or you see there's a problem out there that you can solve. So you can really go from between many ideas to really see where the right one is. Once you kind of land on that idea, you really need to research it. You have to do a comprehensive research to really understand, is there a market for this idea or service, this product that you're trying to build? We, in fact, when we were looking at Ready, we did a survey with a representative sample of our market. We went out to 300 women and really asked them a bunch of questions that really helped us to solidify our model. Anything from, would they buy from us? How much would they pay? What's important to them? Is organic important to them? Would they ever switch from the brand that they currently use to something that we were going to offer? Really think through those questions and really validate that, because that's going to help you really understand how you want to build your business. Certainly then the next step would be thinking through your supply chain and really understanding, where are you going to source your products, or how are you going to deliver the service? How are you going to distribute it or sell it? Is this going to be online, or is this going to be through a brick and mortar, or are you going to partner with someone? So you really need to think through your supply chain, start looking at the business plan, and really really understand what all those components are going to be. And the final step would be financial modeling, because you can have a great idea, you can definitely see that there's a market for it, and you can definitely say, okay, I've got a supplier, I've got a distributor, I've got a warehouse, I've got all these things lined up. But if it's not going to make you money at the end of the day, there's no point. And that's really critical last step, where you really need to build that financial model and really understand, what are my costs, how am I going to market this, what am I going to spend on this, and what the price is going to be. And all of the research you've done thus far would help you there. So that's really a little story about Ready and how we really started, and maybe a little bit of information for some of you that are thinking of starting their own business, how we went about an educative way of really validating the idea and then further launching it.
So I'll just get into my professional background and experience, and how that's helped us as part of our journey. So I'm a professional engineer, and I've done, most of my career has been in engineering, working for an operating company, a manufacturing organization, as well as working in niche consulting. So working for a small consulting firm that provides services to pharmaceutical manufacturers, helping them streamline, develop their lines so that they can, produce product. And where that's been very helpful is, one, I could say right off the bat, because there's a participant who I've been able to connect with through my pharmaceutical experience. So one of the great benefits is having a network that would be able to assist you with maybe process understanding, products, like for example, more specifically for our business, it was packaging. And because what I was involved in before, there was a packaging line, obviously part of the pharmaceutical manufacturing process. And I was able to reach out to my network to understand, how do we get going with this kind of thing? How do you start sizing a box? What are the requirements, et cetera? One of the other things being in the pharmaceutical industry, because it's a regulated industry, you have a lot of dealings with regulatory bodies like Health Canada and the FDA in the US. And as we continue to develop our business, we did learn that tampons are actually medical devices. And so, when we found that, it was a little bit shocking, but then you take a pause and realize that, actually they should be medical devices. Like, this is kind of important. And so the benefit of that was, the experience I've already had. I just had the understanding of risk level, what Health Canada might be requiring from us, the different levels of packaging, the different types of procedures that they may be requiring that we would have to incorporate as part of our business. And then also, sort of supplier auditing and tracking individuals who have complaints or have issues. How do you document these things and what that requirement might be? So one other aspect of my experience, my past experiences in consulting, and with consulting, really, you have to be quite resourceful. You have to be able to develop relationships fairly quickly, and be quite agile in learning a lot about things you may not know anything about. And while myself and Tori are, very, agile and flexible and quick to learn a lot of things, we're not experts on everything. But that this is where that practice and training has come in handy for me, to be able to dive in and start learning a little bit more about marketing, for example, through some experts. And then you'll hear a little bit about Tori's background as well, learning from her. And, just having that consulting experience, being able to quickly pick up things, learn, and just be sort of, as they used to say, like a sponge, and apply the learnings to your business has been, I would say, beneficial experience.
One of the things that fascinated me with you guys was your professional backgrounds. When I first met you two, it was incredible, the knowledge, the wealth of knowledge that you guys bring to the table. And I really think that has transformed how you said Ready Club just started, and yet it doesn't seem that way at all.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, it's all Nana here. No, just joking.
Well, yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Well, actually, for me, my background is quite interesting. I actually come from a family of an entrepreneur. My dad is an entrepreneur, a self-made one, and I think growing up, kind of seeing him, take on these risks and building these businesses and kind of faking it until you're making it, and really even later on in life, we worked together on a few things. It really just helped me build a really thick skin and really build that risk tolerance for me to be able to take on these new opportunities and not be afraid to fail, and really stay optimistic for success, and with each one it's an opportunity to learn and grow. So for me, this has been a huge driver. My dad and the businesses that he's built. As far as my corporate background, I started out my career in marketing and sales. And I think what that really gave me is that ability to connect with customer in a creative way, really understand the needs and being able to express it. I think it really helped me to kind of build my eye for brand, for what really is attractive and what isn't. And I can't say that I'm a marketing guru here. I certainly did not have as much experience, but I think I did really gain quite a bit of that experience in the beginning. And I think when we first were working on Ready, and even when back to the school days, when that was really just a project and we were pitching that to the panel of potential investors and judges, what they really connected was the brand, and it is a branding play. The humor that you see in it, the look and feel of it is really, it's part of the brand. So that was, I feel like the marketing experience really helped me there, to really assist with that skill, and that initial first concept of a brand. And further, my career really took on a very different turn. I actually landed in financial services industry, and grew my career in operations and business management. And so, with that experience, obviously directly relates to what we're currently doing. That really kind of solidified really my idea and my desire to build my own business, because I sort of did that already at my day job at a company I was working for. really thinking through, well, how would the business function, setting up funds or setting up processes to, manage assets. A lot of it is kind of the same concept. So it really built that confidence level for me to say, okay, you know what, I think I've got all the formula ingredients here to be able to do something for myself, and give me that confidence level to go forward with it. And certainly, as we're building Ready right now together with Nana, some of those operational skills and financial services understanding, it comes in handy for sure.
Okay, so what were some of our biggest obstacles
Obstacles.
starting up this endeavor? I would have to say Health Canada as an organization, I guess, has been an obstacle. So with Health Canada, as I mentioned, tampons are medical devices, which means you need to get licensing through Health Canada. And what Health Canada does is they provide a lot of guidelines, an application process that you need to go through to be approved, to be permitted to sell product. And the challenge here for us was that although Health Canada's got a great website, it's got lots of tabs, lots of sections, there's almost so much information, too much information. It's very hard to digest and specifically understand where you fit in and what are the specific rules for you. And so they are very much that guidelines. It's very broad, and you have to be able to read and interpret what the guidelines are. And while you're doing that, there's a potential that you could make an error. So what do you have? You've got representatives that work for Health Canada, and you don't know necessarily whether or not you will have the same representative every time you call. The chances of that are going to be low. We were fortunate enough to be connected with a rep who we were continuously working with. Unfortunately, there was some communication issues, as we later learned. This plays into who you get as the representative. Some representatives, well, I would just say they're not all created equal. Some have more knowledge than others, more experience, etc. And so you're relying on them to give you guidance. Ultimately, we put forth our application, and for us, what we found as we were going down that path of building our business and trying to offer some different things as part of our overall product offering on our website, we learned that the license that was issued to us was an incorrect license. And that was pretty devastating, I will say. So what happens with that? You go and you spend time trying to understand where things have gone wrong. You don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction and just try to respond immediately, but make sure that the next steps you are making are the correct ones. And so as we started to do that, and obviously now things have been corrected, it took away some time from launching, and that delayed us, and it delayed quite a bit of other things that we needed in order to launch, which is the packaging and what the packaging needed to say. So that was, I would say, that's the biggest obstacle. I would say one other obstacle that we have experienced is really just the management of the collaborators that we've been working with. So, myself and Tori, we spent a lot of time developing websites, trying to think of all kinds of new ideas. But of course, some of the technical aspects, like developing the website, which is more than two dimensions to it. But so you have designing the look of the website, so the front end, and then the back end, doing the development. For example, you've got all kinds of different technical and creative individuals, and they all have different experiences, skill sets, etc., which you have to manage. The one of the things is, for us, because we are investing our own money, had been working with freelancers, and like them, we are also working full time. And so for freelancers, this work is not necessarily their priority, which makes it also a challenge, right, to move things forward. Most recently, we started working with a marketing agency, which has really afforded us more time to spend really developing the business and thinking of new ideas. and then allow people who have the time and the skill set and are able to work with each other without us interjecting frequently or let's see, connecting and doing a lot of coordination. It's afforded us a lot of time to spend where we needed to spend. So I would say those are the two biggest obstacles, which I think we've done a pretty good job, I think, of overcoming them. But I would say those are the top two.
So, what
Thank
are the benefits of a subscription-based business model, and why did you choose it?
So when we were, again, back in school where it all started, Dollar Shave Club was what inspired us. And I remember we were actually just doing that case on Shave Club, and I was thinking, what a brilliant idea. You set something up and it just kind of continues to repeat itself, and it's a replenishment model. And there's got to be something like this for women that would be so helpful, so necessary. You can avoid the hassle, and so this has really kind of led us, into the idea of Ready Club. Um, Further, as we started to develop the idea and did our research, we learned that subscription services models are really becoming increasingly popular with clients shopping online, with people shopping online. There's really three broad categories to it. There is the convenience or the replenishment uh, type. There is the experience or the curation type. And then finally, there's the access cost type. So the replenishment, which is kind of where we fit in, I would say, is an ongoing subscription where it automatically purchases the products or whatever the service you've signed up to have, and so it continues to just purchase it automatically and send you the what you need, what you've ordered. The curation is more about the experience. It's about delighting and surprising the consumer with that experience every single time. So it's typical for food industries or beauty categories and so forth. And then the last one, the access and the cost, is really subscribing on a monthly basis to a service or a membership that gives you access to low cost perks and member only kind of discounts, typically in apparel and food categories. That's very popular. The replenishment and the convenience factor, where we feel we really landed, is really popular for things like personal care and like period products and diapers and different things like that just repeat themselves all the time. The other attractive thing to us was that when we started to research, the subscription service industry has been really booming in the last, I'd say, 5 years. Between kind of 100 to 150% year over year growth, and that was pretty good to see. And you could see that. You could see that customers are really becoming more and more open-minded to subscribing to services or products and so forth. So, some of the successful brands out there is the Blue Apron and the Dollar Shave Club, of course. We mentioned that, and the Good Food, and there's lots of them out there, and certainly more to come. From the business perspective, what attracted us was that it was a predictable revenue model. So you can really understand, based on your subscribers, what you're going to be really bringing in revenue. And also that, you also know the churn that you can expect, because people will subscribe or unsubscribe or pause. And you kind of know what that percentage typically is, and so you can project your success rate, and act accordingly in terms of marketing and promotion. So there's a little bit more, I'd say, confidence and transparency with that. And then the final attractive component was for us to be able to build a relationship with the customer, because it's something that continues to happen every month or every 3 months or whatever it may be. You really have a way to connect with the customer and engage with them and learn more about them and build that relationship. So that was really attractive to us. To be successful in a subscription model, there's three things we feel are important. Really understanding your customer psychographics. We to be honest with you, are still figuring that out. And I think it's in a constant evolution. Build is two is building that emotional connection through a customer journey. It might be on your online store, or through emails you send, or through your post on IG or at Facebook. So that would be really important. And three is a constant personalization, because people love to be feeling special, and that definitely is key for that opportunity to build ongoing relationship with the customer.
Amazing. Thank you, Tori. So when it comes to e-commerce, what would you consider are the must-haves?
Okay, so there's two that we myself and Tori talked about. One really is the constant engagement and experience. I think Tori touched on that. And very specifically, when you're looking at social media and digital marketing, you want to be able to identify who is your true target market or audience, which Tori had mentioned. We had an idea of what that is, and fortunately, we're in a time where you can have data tell you directly who is responding and who is not. So there's not as much of a guessing game. It's a matter of maybe time and money that you put in to determine that. And so making sure that your digital marketing is vibrant, it's engaging for people. There's lots of different ways to do that through video, photography, all kinds of different things. But you want to be able to attract, and gain a lot of interest into what it is that you're providing. Once that is done, the next must-have is making sure that the customer experience is stellar. So once they come to your online store, we're consumers. We know that we want to be able to go real quickly, click on a couple of buttons or images, makes a couple of decisions, put in our credit card information, and get what we need. And that is part of the experience that needs to be there for everyone who visits your site. I think one of the things that we have tried to incorporate as part of our experience is some of the humor, or just like the tone, or the aesthetic, and just the essence of our brand. That we think is also a part of the experience. It's not just the transaction, but how you feel when you look at the pages. We hope that we can make this purchase sort of a pleasant one, although the experience may not be one. So those, I would say, are the two must-haves to have when you're going in to start an e-commerce business.
All right, I'm just gonna go next with a few other questions there. I know I want to leave some time for questions from the audience. So I know the next one is with the e-commerce. What would you suggest to start with? So we kind of covered this up front already. So certainly researching the various business models. I chatted a little bit about the types of subscription models. Figuring out where you fit in within the subscription model. And then some of the other things that I touched on in terms of really validating your idea, researching your market, really understanding how that market receives the potential product or service, validating that target market. You could do a survey, you can do a focus group, you can really learn about your market and your addressable market, your target customer. Some of the legal things like registering your business, understanding how you're going to build the website. Are you going to use Shopify? Are you going to do WooCommerce? Or are you going to do, Amazon platform? So these are the things you need to kind of think through, compare costs and so forth. And then certainly build that online store, because that's going to be your storefront, and that's going to be really important to get right. And then finally, think through the promotion, and that will be really critical. And then you want to take the next one, number 7?
Yeah, so this is really just about being a woman entrepreneur, and maybe some of the challenges around that. For sure, if you're going out to be an entrepreneur, there's just challenges off the bat, regardless of gender. Lack of funding or limited funding, the support that you might need. You're not a big business; people are not flocking to you to help you, and give you money. So that's a challenge. And also, one of the things is obviously you're feeling ambitious and you want to succeed, but there is obviously a natural fear of failure. So those are, some basic things any new entrepreneur would face. But I would say, in particular for women, because women are still traditionally bearing the responsibilities at home, that becomes a bit of a challenge, right? So you could be, well, women are typically still the managers of their household. So they're looking after children, the purchases, the maintenance of the house, etc. Or you could be someone who has no children and is, caring for older parents. And so that becomes a challenge in balancing all of your responsibilities. One of the other things that we've thought about and talked about is really just the way that women also approach problems and solve problems. And in this particular business, because of the nature of the product, what we've tried to do is incorporate or engage with collaborators that are like-minded, which are typically women, to help us to engage more women, and so that it's obviously it's just more natural, and in the dealings that we've had and some of the discussions we've had with strategists, etc. When we're talking to men, there's obviously a disconnect. And so you want to be able to have like-minded people, and that can be a challenge even when we've talked to potential investors. There's a tendency for people to not be so interested in a very basic need like we have, but more of a need or more of an interest in tech type of businesses. So when it comes to being a female entrepreneur, these are some of the, I would say, challenges and differences. But the solution I would say around that is just be mindful of these things and think about how you can overcome. And there's always solutions, I think, for everything. And I wouldn't make that prominent, like at the forefront of your mind, going out to try to conquer the world as we are trying to do. But just be mindful that these may be some hurdles that have to be overcome.
So we have a lot of questions in the chat. A lot of great questions. So I don't know if we want to start attacking those for time's sake.
That's a good idea.
One of the first questions we got here: how are you choosing to market your product and why?
So definitely being an e-commerce business, one of the main ways in which you can market it is through social media. And I would be honest with you that before Ready, Nana and I were basically non-existent on social media. And we had to learn our way through all of that and really take some bootcamp courses here to figure it out. But I think this is definitely the way. The digital marketing approach is the main way for us to drive traffic to our website, to connect with the customer, to engage them, and that's been our main focus so far. There's plenty other ways that we're looking to also explore, like partnerships and some of the traditional marketing even in the future. But primarily right now it's social media.
Awesome. Another question was, how do you know where and how to invest in the right places when you're starting with a budget?
So I can say that we came across, we were at a crossroads where we realized that we really needed to engage more people and, sow more seeds out there. There are all kinds of different ways to do it. Sample boxes, like having our product in other subscription boxes, getting an influencer, etc. What we did was just go back to the basics. We looked at, what do these things cost? What do we get in return for that? And, does it really make sense for where we're at right now? Have you accomplished enough to go and pay thousands of dollars to an influencer? Are you at a point that you can do that? So you really have to evaluate all options. And we know that we will embark upon all of these different things because you need a good mix. But the question is, when do you do it? And so because we're still at the infancy stage, we've taken some other routes that are less expensive, knowing that these other options are on the horizon.
Amazing. Another good question was, when building your brand online, what would you suggest when struggling to decide on the tone or the vibe of the aesthetic?
So we started, a discussion of when we have, very different very different. We have different personalities. We had different thoughts about it. I think for the most part, we had a similar idea. So it wasn't overly challenging. We were in sync, I would say, with how we wanted this tone. It was just the degree to which that tone needs to present itself on the site. What we've also done is we had like a base idea, and we had to share it. We had to share it with some different women to understand what the response might be, what their initial reaction and feeling would be, and then ultimately you have to take a stance to say this is our brand and this is who we are, because ultimately you're not going to please or reach everyone. And so you have to be confident in how you market yourself and sort of put a stake in the ground and move forward, I would say.
Yeah.
You want to add up to that, Tori?
I would only say that, we also wanted to stay true to who we are and our passion. And, humor is a big part of our life. And we're, positive in general. And we also wanted to stand out. We didn't want to just be like every other brand. We wanted to stand out and connect to the people through humor, through that tone, through the voice that we build for our brand. So that was important.
There are a lot of great questions, so I do want to get a couple more in. So next one, someone in here is actually looking into the subscription business model, and they are asking about different options. What are your various options? Do you have a free tier as part of your offerings?
So right now we're actually literally in the middle of changing some things on our website. We're offering a subscription service that's based on frequency, right? There's some different frequencies that you can have. It's supplied to you, but we've just started. Hopefully, when you click tomorrow, it'll be there. An on-demand, a one-time purchase option. So that's what we've seen, and this is through the feedback and what we've seen our competitors doing as well. We've got we don't have a free giveaway necessarily at this point in time. We have great promo code on our website to get a fantastic discount, and oftentimes we do promotional giveaways and specials depending on holidays and things like that. But yeah.
And I would only just add that, obviously for the person that's looking to launch their business, you're going to need to kind of really strategically think through what's going to drive traffic. You might have to offer, a free subscription for a month or something initially to get the interest, to get the traffic. And we did that up front, to kind of build that awareness and build a little bit of an excitement. And so, you just have to kind of figure that out along the way. But definitely it's something that you can play around with and see what works for you, for the service, for the product that you're offering. And just, it's a trial and error kind of thing.
The next question is, as entrepreneurs and master business administrators, what is your number one business or entrepreneur success strategy book recommendation?
Okay.
I don't know that I have a strategy book recommendation for Kyle at this time, but I would say, because I mean, honestly, through what we've learned in our MBA, we've just like taken everything and mixed it together, and we've really had to apply everything. But what actually keeps me going is the podcast. How I built this. And it is constant motivation. You hear of people, starting, failing.
What's it called?
How I Built This by Guy Raz. And that's kind of the thing that's, kept me going. I mean, there's a lot of like theoretical things. You can always refer to books and things like that, but I don't know that I personally have one reference book that I use. I think we dabble in everything, because one day you're looking at finance, the next day you're looking at, marketing and targeting and segmentation and things like that.
The next question will be, for those of us living in the corporate life, can you walk us through a typical day in the life of an entrepreneur? What are the similarities? What are the differences, likes and dislikes?
I can get started before we get cut off. I would say for the entrepreneur, it's a constant, nonstop day. I'd say you always think about your business. You always look for things to change, for certain improvements. You sort of wake up thinking it, and you go through the day thinking about it, and you're constantly jotting down what you want to do, and you go to sleep thinking it, and you even dream thinking it too. A main difference really from a corporate job, where you sort of you come in, you do a job and you work hard and you leave, and you sort of you can detach from that. I don't For an entrepreneur, I don't think you can ever detach, because whether you're at home in the evening or you're on vacation, you're constantly working, you're constantly thinking the next steps, and in the business needs constant evolution, because if you stop, it's just going to die. Nan, I don't know if you have anything else to add, but I'd say that would be my main point to make here.
Only other thing I would say is there's a different kind of freedom that comes with pursuing a business. You have the freedom to like expand your mind and come up with different ideas, try different things. There's consequences, right? There's always consequences for lots of different things, but you don't have the same boundaries that you do in a corporate setting. There's certain objectives, you need to meet those. And if you're fortunate, maybe you work in an organization where you have that freedom. And also with that freedom, though, it ties back to what Tori was saying, is you can't stop thinking.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Well,
I talk to Tori she's the first person I talk to in the morning. This is no word of a lie. And but yeah, that's the difference for sure.
Amazing.
And you're on your own as far as taking those risks and making those decisions, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Where in a corporate world, you do a job, but someone else, ultimately makes those calls, or drives that business forward, or you still have a role to play in the bigger picture. Where here, this is your world, this is everything, and the steps you take is going to make a huge impact.
And I mean, you do, of course, you get tired. I think the most hilarious thing that happened to us this summer, because you try to maintain your life, right? As well.
For sure.
It's not like the corporate world where you go and you have a vacation and you come back and whatever, flip on your laptop. Tori's in an RV, like literally this is what happened. She's in an RV. I don't even know where she is. And we're trying to actually talk to you, Deandra. And I'm on a boat, in Toronto on a sailboat, and we're kind of like everything coordinated, and the boat's rocking, and you have to just keep it going as much as possible. It's hard to you slow down. There's some consequences with that. So
Absolutely. How do you guys maintain your work-life balance? What are some of the strategies that you've been forced or had to implement?
Well, Nana is certainly a planner. So we do plan a lot. Our meetings, our calls, our agendas, we try to make this as efficient as possible. We do a lot of stuff online. We've got shared documents, shared libraries, where we, at our own time can contribute and keep the process going. But I think, just like with everything, you just need to really make time for things that are a priority for you. And that's typically, works for everything, I'd say.
Yeah, now, work-life balance, people say, oh, there's no such thing as work-life balance. It's about balancing work and life. And, that's what it's really about. But we're driven by this. Hey, there you go, Deandra. We are driven by this business, and we want it to work. And so we're excited to do it. So it's not a burden. Do we get tired? Yes, we do. But that's where we hand over the baton to each other, so that occasionally one person needs a break, but we're never really breaking. Let's be honest. Tori is never really breaking. But yeah, you just make it happen. Mm-hmm.
Amazing. were there any other questions from anyone else in the audience?
I think I saw one question about, I don't know if the person's still on, about, having these diverse skills and, being able to understand your direction and path in terms of your career. That's something that I have struggled with my whole entire career. I went to school, went into engineering, I followed that path, but there were things about me that, I knew I wanted to explore other things. I just never really listened to my own voice, I guess. Um, I think that, to do that, you have to pay attention to what you like and what you don't like and try to create something for yourself. And hopefully it becomes something you can do full time. For a while, this was kind of like, my side hustle. It still is, obviously, I have to work. But I've been able to use that and bring it into my resume and share it with people as part of my skill set. And then that also starts to generate different types of roles and things like that that I would enjoy more because it has like sort of an entrepreneurial base to it. But it is difficult when you like to do all kinds of different things to narrow it down. It is.
I think there's a hand raised from Noor. You have a question. You can unmute yourself and go ahead.
Yes, I do. Hi, guys. Thank you for having me. My question is when you're good at like the different things, like you just answered it, but where did you go to have like the surveys done of people so you know which direction to take? Like, how do you, the surveys, I think you mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
To narrow it down just to get data and information, like where do you go to get these people? That's I'm curious.
Right. So, so definitely your own network. So we were fortunate. We were at the time in school. And so you had the network of women within the school network that we kind of approached. So that was really valuable opportunity for us. But I would say, friends and family, co-workers, clubs that you're part of, anyone and anyone and anywhere you can really identify and approach and just and it doesn't have to be 300 women, it could be 50 women. We did another project actually for another entrepreneurial idea, and we did a focus group and we only really had 10 women, but boy, that was really powerful and effective because you really had an intimate discussion. Really went through the idea, the thinking that we had behind the idea, upside down, inside out, and we gained so much insight and so much knowledge from that experience as well.
Okay.
So that's another approach. And if that is not possible, you can pay for that too, by the way. So there's there's companies that you can go as low as a few $100s to a few $1,000s to reach a certain demographic and a certain group of people to test.
So one thing just to add to that, of course, we reach out to our own network and we just use SurveyMonkey. Okay, so when you're talking about, keeping costs low and doing a lot of the work yourself, we created the questions and, did a sort of sound check amongst each other to make sure the questions made sense and would answer the things that we needed to get answered. So always have a sounding board if you're going to be doing this kind of thing. But yeah, just using SurveyMonkey and reaching out to your network and getting your network to reach out to other people is also a way to give you direction.
Got it. Thank you.
So at this point, if there are any last questions, we will take those before we determine the winner of the giveaway. So I think that might be it for questions. I think everyone's excited for the giveaway.
Yay!
I have filled a Ready Club box with all your ballots and with everyone in here. And for those of you who asked additional questions, I stuck an extra ballot with your name on it in here. So yeah, let's go ahead and choose a winner. The winner is, if you can read my writing, Shamika.
Shamika, congratulations. You're the winner.
Congratulations. We're so excited.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Shamika, if you can just send us an email at ama@readyclub.com.
Okay.
Then you can get your mailing address and your preferences for product, and we can send that out to you.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you
Looking
both. I
forward
just
to
wrote it in the chat. Thank you so much for your time and your expertise. That was quite informative and uplifting. So I'm looking forward to putting some of your tips and information into my entrepreneurial life. So thank you again. And thank you for selecting me as the winner, Deandra.
No problem. And so there is another gift from Ready Club. I guess I will let you guys announce.
Sure. Well, I'll just take a few seconds. We didn't get to that last question about, what's in store for Ready in the future. I'll just take a few minutes and end with this, powerful gift, like you said. We certainly are very excited, as Nana had mentioned earlier, about Ready, and we're really passionate about the business, the opportunity that we have with it. We're exploring a lot of different ways in which we can promote it. We're looking at certainly different distribution channels like retail and partnerships and B2B. We're expanding across Canada, so we would really appreciate everyone's opportunity to tag us, to comment on IG or Facebook or on our website, and spread the word. We do believe that we offer unique products, really high-end, really healthy alternatives for women out there. Definitely stay tuned with our growth. We're looking to also expand into US at some point. So lots of things, lots of ideas that we're working with, and certainly hope to stay connected with some of you that are on the call today. Well, for everyone on the call, certainly wanted to let you know that we do have a 25% discount on our website, readyclub.com. You can see the promo code right on the landing page. So definitely check us out. Read and have a laugh for 7, and use the discount to try our products. And we'd be really pleased to send them over to you.
Amazing. And I want to take this time to thank both of you, Nana and Tori, for coming on and putting together such an incredible seminar today. I really think that you guys bring a lot of value to the community. And, between your professional backgrounds and your experience with Ready Club, I think a lot of the people in here are entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, and have really benefited from this. So I really, really want to thank you too. And thank you to everyone else who took the time out this evening to be with us and listen into this call. I hope that it was as valuable for you as it was for me. And I wanted to let you know how much I appreciate you all.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deandra.
My pleasure. And I want to take this moment just to introduce our next seminar. We have Patrick Reed from SNC Lavalin talking about how to advance in science. It's going to be a really cool seminar. He's got a lot of knowledge in the nuclear atmosphere, and he's definitely someone you want to meet. So with that being said, thank you all again for your time, and enjoy the rest of your evenings.
Thanks, guys. Don't forget to follow us on IG at Ready Club. Thank you.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for your
Take
time.
care.
Take care. All the best.